So, at this point, we've got to look at it. Have Origin research Misfits with this Tahm Kench ban. Dreams has played it a bunch, but also it's a very standard ban to take away. Malzahar's off the table as well, so already focused down in that bottom lane.
Yeah, that was a big part of Misfits Academy's success against Schalke. They clearly came to the table having done their homework and knowing that they've been going to face up against Origin for a couple days now. Let's see what they can come to bear. Have the backing of the Misfits organization as a whole as well.
And this is where, thankfully, we're seeing a little bit of priority towards the jungle. And this is different to yesterday. I really was confused when LCS Team Giants banned Rek'Sai in yesterday's game. It showed me they perhaps were underestimating Fnatic Academy, whereas Origin taking this to the next level. It's got to take away those key picks. Rengar is a meta pick as well. You don't want Misfits Academy first picking it, but if they don't ban Graves here, it's first pickable. Misfits Academy now. If they have to focus the Kha'Zix early, this gives a lot of pace.
But Misfits Academy have decided to do a quick lock-in of Lulu here. Take that one potentially away from Xpeke, but also just a popular choice now with the less mobile AD carries coming back into the fold.
I like this. It now also kind of drags Tabs and Peke away perhaps from a situation where they're playing a very defensive bottom lane. I mean, Lulu assists on the push quite well, but the thing is, Tabs, he's a carry that we know later on into the game can do very well himself. So taking away that protection from Origin is a good start for Misfits.
Yeah, it looks like Origin have decided to take the Lee Sin in the jungle, though. They're not going to deny the Kha'Zix pick away for Misfits Academy, so Syncroft has that. It's a comfortable choice, and the Kennen gets locked in. And we've been seeing a lot more Kennen lately, but the question is this going to be up top for Sartorius?
Exactly. This is a little different out of Sartorius. We haven't seen the Kennen out of him, and only a handful of these lane bully style champions tended more towards Rumble and other tanks. Interested to see now, of course, there is the old Fnatic flex if this is going down to the AD carry role, but I don't expect that for Tabs. He's played a lot of Ashe, he's played a lot of Varus. These kind of champions have done very well for Tabs in his career. Not so well for Origin recently, of course. Not the best winning record overall.
All right, the Kha'Zix is now locked in for Pridestalker. He'll have a very comfortable champion choice there. And for Misfits, what's next for them? Looking like they might want to pick themselves up a mid laner, or maybe save that one for later and grab something more AD carry oriented. I guess Jisoo, they could pick up his top lane choice too, but we've been seeing people wait to try and counterpick that. However, Shen has made it through the pick and ban phase so far, and now he's snagged away.
Very rarely does Shen make it through the pick and ban phase recently in Europe, and this is a big change, but I think it's because of so much priority needing to be placed on the jungle. And now this gives us a little bit more of an idea that perhaps it is Tabs playing the Kennen AD carry here. They've taken now the Gangplank, the standard matchup that people have played for a very long time, into this Shen. Of course, waiting for later on, being able to deny Shen any ability to push.
Yeah, Sartorius is going for a different kind of carry than we might have imagined. Origin in their second ban phase. Take away the Katarina. That was an old CosQ special.
And I think the other champion, if they're looking towards mid lane, they have to take away is the Cassiopeia, because that is another pick that has been so influential for CosQ. Origin may be looking here to pick a Syndra for themselves, or if they end up going for the support here and last picking mid lane, we get to see what Nahyun can pick when faced with something like a Syndra from CosQ.
Well, Nahyun has definitely showed up with a fairly big champion pool, even if it hasn't had a lot of success. The Cassiopeia is going to be banned away by Origin.
And this is the kind of pick that Ducky, although a lot of people look at him and his experience in coaching, may not have the most successful LCS record, but he's been in and out of Challenger, and that means he's seen every time CosQ has been in and out of promotion tournaments, and you know you've got to ban away his Cassiopeia. If you let it through, it's a big pick for this guy, and he's been able to do very well. May still go for something like an Ahri if it's available into a good matchup, or a Vladimir would be another option for CosQ.
Yep. Misfits Academy still have a lot of weapons, but of course they want to wait, get some of those things to come online, and the game plan we thought might be Misfits Academy going for the snowball, but they've got themselves some later game insurance. Origin, though, are they going to pick their mid laner blind here? It looks like that might be the case. Yeah,
it's a decent plan here. Echo is going to be the likely pickup here from CosQ. You could always go the Vladimir as well. Depends whether Misfits want to play out on the side lanes. With this Shen already there, the Kha'Zix also provides a lot of threat moving between lanes. They may go for side lane control, but if they want to go another route for more team fight, that's when they start looking at the likes of a Vladimir, that kind of pick.
Yep, they got the Varus all locked in, and there's still a few more options.
Now this may very well get locked in, because CosQ is an Akali old one trick back in 2014. Haven't seen it out of him in Challenger for a long time, and he's picked it up.
Season 4's back, baby.
I was thinking about this earlier in rehearsal. Kozq, big smile on his face right now, looks over at Nahian. Of course, this may very well be the most winnable matchup for Nahian and Kozq. Both of them not exactly able to compete with some of the LCS's best. Now what do Origen have down in that support role?
Well, it's all depending on what Peke picks. He wants to get himself a little bit more sustained for his lane, and it's the Nami lock-in, so you don't get to see that tanky one. This is actually not a very tanky lineup on the side of Origen. We're going to be relying very heavily on Syncroft in the front line, but some of this does scream, can we get our lanes ahead early?
And when you look at two assassins on the side of Misfits Academy with the likes of this Akali, the Kha'Zix, now you've got a low frontline team for Origen. Even like a GP, a Lee Sin will get picked off if these champions start to snowball, and Misfits Academy could look to run away with this game.
Yeah, and that's the worry that we had for Origen. If they get snowballed on early, Misfits Academy could really take it to them, but still a little bit of risk there. Mitigated somewhat by the fact that they have a Shen, something we rarely see make it through the pick and ban phase, pairing it with the Kha'Zix and the likes of Pridestalker's hands. Misfits Academy and Unlimited, they have to be very happy with what they've managed to snag in the draft.
Yeah, I think they will be when you look at comfort picks as well. We obviously haven't seen Kozq on this Akali. We've seen very few Akali games in the world, though. Only 5 games this split. 2 of them were from Kikis in Challenger in the top lane. Very different.
And they won.
Coaches shake hands, getting ready. Of course, this is round 1 of the promotion tournament. You don't lose and go out here. It's a double chance because it's a double elimination bracket.
But it puts you in a much more comfortable position. You do not want to have to fall down into that elimination match. Misfits Academy and Origen are bringing the heat for game number 1. We want to know what you guys have to say about it. Hop on Twitter and cast your votes. Hashtag MFA win or hashtag OG win. We'll find out as game number 1 loads up, and we are going onto the Rift.
Very tense feeling in the studio. Of course, no audience in for the promotion tournament, so you can hear the players start to chatter away just a little bit. You can see early game strategies settling in for themselves. This could be a long series. Best of 5. Winner advances to face Fnatic Academy. Of course, they beat Giants yesterday. Will Origen be the second LCS team to fall in 1 week to 2 challenger teams?
Yes, indeed. Some unexpected appearances here in this promotion tournament. Misfits Academy, it was something that, even Origen, they necessarily weren't expecting. We heard from Sartorius in an interview earlier on this week. Talked about, hey, we're up against these guys. We're not as worried about them as we were Fnatic Academy, and that kind of echoes, I think, what a lot of us were saying with Giants' decision to pick the Fnatic Academy squad in the first round.
Yeah, I was perplexed by that decision because, to me, when looking at this, you want to match lane for lane against the weakest challenger opponents in air quotes. And I feel like Misfits Academy, although they are a strong team, don't match up lane for lane as well as Fnatic Academy did. A lot of experience for LCS pros. But what we saw out of Misfits Academy was a sum of all parts come together very well. Pridestalker was the initial tip of the spear, and then everything else from Misfits Academy fell in place behind it and really worked out well. We'll have to see if they can do the same against Syncroft and Origen.
Absolutely, and for Misfits Academy, it was definitely a surprise showing, and I think it was even surprising within the org itself. I had the pleasure to talk to Hussein, the coach of the Big Sister Misfits squad, earlier in the week, and he said, hey, this is a team that we hadn't really given a lot of experience scrims to up until the playoffs, and when we did, they seemed to really have a much better understanding on how LCS level teams shot call, and it came to bear in that playoff match against Schalke.
Well, they're going to have to do a decent job playing around this Akali that they have as well, but early game has to go over mid lane, over to Nahian. Has hit level 2 early, but that's not the key thing. It's because he's bullying Kozq back away from the wave. Akali, melee matchup. Tough early game against the Syndra, but you can see a lot of minions in the wave in front of him. If you can clear these up without taking too much more harass, he should be in an okay spot, but just needs extra time.
Yeah, a little bit to see if he can get himself ahead. Maybe this is an opportunity for Pridestalker to try and get involved a little early on and get the snowball rolling on the other side. Syncroft, he'll have Plenty of opportunities to make his way to lanes as the Lee Sin. Take a look up top as Jisoo and Satorius duel it out. That's a nice
Satorius
flashing forward, a follow through, and it's
no.
first blood for Jisoo.
That should almost never happen. I mean, Gangplank, yes, okay, he has the tough start to the matchup. He has to wait, buy time. That's a big mistake from Satorius up in this top lane. Jisoo just 1v1ing him down. We were talking about laning prowess. Jisoo shows up and goes, no, I am the better laner here right now. Picks up first blood. Massive, important first blood as well. This delays Gangplank for a long time in the game.
Yep, still level 2 right now. And see what happens when you don't have oranges. It's not K. Unfortunately, for Satorius, he burns through his flash and now has to burn his TP as well early on in Misfits Academy. The solo kill up top after an early start.
Yeah, this was the solo queue, as he said, didn't have the remove Scurvy, gets taunted in a few minions. A lot of damage comes out. It's a cannon wave as well, so that additional damage coming through. Easy first kill for Jisoo. That was just poor decision-making from Satorius to take that trade. Good taunt comes out from Jisoo. And now, look at how far Satorius is having to play up in the lane. And if a Kha'Zix comes top lane after a recall here, Satorius is in trouble. No flash means he will likely die. Also doesn't have a teleport, so if anything happens again, he's going to be delayed back to the lane.
Oh yeah, that's a little rough right now, and Jisoo definitely doing well on this Shen to kick things off. One of the reasons this champion's banned a lot here in Europe, and Satorius hasn't had to play off against it on this Gangplank here. Now Syncroft's coming through.
Yeah, this is Origen compensating, though. Look at it. Double wards come up to the top side, trying to make sure they can track Pride Stalker through the jungle. There is a Blast Cone, I believe, available for Pride Stalker that he's about to hop over. Will jump in. Satorius is in so much trouble again. He's no flash, remember.
They saw this coming, but Pride Stalker out of the blue just nabs a kill, or at least an assist, as Jisoo gets another Syncroft. Was not close enough.
The blast plant was the key into the river there, and by the time you've got yourself in the river, Satorius was too far up in the lane. This is catastrophic for the Origen lineup, and we were talking about, could they maintain? Would it be Pride Stalker that would carry this through? Well, Jisoo's had the easy game already. This is a 2-kill Shen that has the Tiamat already, plus a cloth armor. Yeah, this Shen is going to be able to be pushing the entire game for a very long time until Satorius can actually answer it.
Yeah, he's going to hit early level 6 as well, so if Misfits Academy want to start making side lane plays, they definitely can. This is a big start for these guys, and, well, first one was all alone, but the second time he had that assist from Pride Stalker.
And this is where you've got to wonder. Satorius is a player that has played a lot in Challenger, but not in promotion games. This is his first real time playing for his LCS spot, and it seems like he's a little uneasy to begin this one off. It's going to be an important one for Origen to stabilize, and that's what this move into the top side does, is they're trying to bring Kennen and Nami to push this tower, alleviate some of the pressure, and try and force Jisoo back away.
Well, looks like they've done it for now. However, Yuki and Dreams are on their way. How much damage can Origen get off this tower? Jisoo trying to clear away some minions, the help of the Tiamat there, and Peke and Tabs haven't been able to get too much more damage. Bubble comes up, but Yuki has arrived. So for now, they'll push them back, and we just have a delayed swap, but it's matched.
And because we're so early on, there's very little threat from this Gangplank, from this Kennen, up in the top side. Now Tabs has to be careful with all this damage.
Ooh, dodge on the bubble, piercing arrow doesn't connect. You can see Satorius, he's not finishing his back right now. It's a lot of time spent, but will it pay off?
And because of this, look, Jisoo's already hit 6. He's the other side of the map because they know Stand United and the teleport are available. So for Misfits, they're winning out on this. Satorius is late to the bottom side. He's going to lose experience, lose time in this matchup, but what it did do was stop Jisoo from getting any farm and getting anything like that. It's a very minor stopgap for Origen. This does not rescue Satorius at all. But for a moment, it buys time for that flash and that teleport to come back up.
Yeah, so now we're going to be in a swap situation with both the dual lanes up to the top side. It's 1,000 gold lead for Misfits Academy, but with an Infernal on the bottom side, how does this change the landscape of the early game?
Realistically, not a whole lot, because both Lee Sin and Kha'Zix can solo Drake. So as soon as you see one jungler commit to the top side, the other will take the dragon and likely look for bot lane tower as well. So there's not going to be a massive fight over dragon, I wouldn't expect, especially with both teleport users up on the top side. It's not going to come down to Sartorius and Jizu. It's all on Pridestalker and Synchro.
Yeah, and speaking about Pridestalker, honestly, he was a huge part of the reason that they were able to take on the game against Schalke. He's showing up huge again, starting on this dragon after getting the assist. And you see how he played it out. We mentioned it, only one game did he even die, and that was the one they lost.
Yeah, exactly. You can see his Kha'Zix game as well was insane. Double thumbs up, 9-0-7 on that game. That's an Infernal Drake going over, and as we said, there's no big fight over the dragon because Pridestalker, an easy take on this, and he's got his Kha'Zix. Despite there being Rengar bans and Graves bans, he's on a comfortable jungler, and his top laner has already won half of the map for him. Look at how Origin is struggling. Misfits just back away. They know they don't need to commit here now. They have the confirmation Synchron's here. You just concede, and bot tower looks like it's going first anyway.
Oh man, Jisoo was proxying the wave as Shen right now. This is insane right here. They're going to get themselves the first tower gold, knocks it down while Origin are trying to trade, and oh man, this just keeps on snowballing. Origin was not too far behind and grabbing the tower, but still they're falling behind in the gold game.
And you can't emphasize how important this whole passage of play with the first blood and then denying Sartorius escape from the lane for the second kill as well. 7 levels on Jisoo. Sartorius is only level 5. The ultimate's been available for Jisoo for a long time. Sartorius doesn't have it. Gangplank is all based around you get Trinity Force and a second item, and at that point you easily deny Shen his ability to push, and you can match to some extent his global with the Cannon Barrage. Neither of those are available. Jisoo just hit level 8. Sartorius is still level 5.
I mean, he's been stuck under his second tier tower right now. They've been locking him up, delaying this Gangplank power spike. He doesn't even have a Sheen yet.
No.
He's still sitting on the long sword and the mana crystal. I mean, this is such a slowdown right here, and all the while it's buying KOSQ time, you know, to get within striking distance of Nahun.
The entire gold lead for Misfits Academy currently sits in Jisoo's purse, pocket, whatever you want to call it, wherever he keeps his money. Under his mattress, in cash.
He's got a lot of it.
Has he got it in stock? Because right now he's put a lot of stock in ninjas.
Yes.
This Shen is working out very well for him. 2-0, will recall soon. Of course, 1,700 gold on his person means he's going to be able to, whether it's finish that Titanic Hydra, go towards some other itemization to give him that winning matchup for a lot longer. We'll see where he goes.
Yep, 10 minutes into the game, yeah. He's going to go ahead and get the... I mean, it's thematically appropriate, come on. But with the way the league is right now, obviously, there's a fair amount of AD on this Origin side, with the Gangplank being the top lane choice, and, you know, that being an AD Kennen and all. So the big difference maker could be Nahun. He's picking himself up some new pairs of boots, try and get that magic damage in there.
And that's one lane that is going okay for Origin. You look at it, as a mid lane, KOSQ is down in CS, and KOSQ also has an added difficulty that he normally wouldn't run into, is he wants to try and get the AD carry, wants to try and get the mid lane. There's a lot of crowd control between those two picks alone. Kennen pop slicing Maelstrom, locks Akali down, maybe KOSQ struggles.
Speaking of,
if it's a 1v1 though, that's a whole lot easier.
Yeah, but Peke's here. It's a 1v2, and he's getting the Shen shield on. Can he make it out in time? There we go. Tabs narrowly making his escape as KOSQ walks out of the Cannon Barrage. A lot invested to keep him alive, though.
So you get to see both sides of that. The damage out of KOSQ as he jumps on to Tabs, the Tabs as well, the survivability, the crowd control, the heal, the flash. As long as it's all up, Tabs shouldn't really die. And KOSQ struggled to get himself in there. I want to see more from Nahun, the opposition for KOSQ, because Nahun really struggled against the EU LCS's mid laners. Can he do well against arguably one of the most consistent challenger mid laners for the last 2 years?
Yeah, I mean, as much as this matchup is, you know, test number 1 for Origin and the EU LCS survivability, this is also a big test for Nahun because he hasn't been able to show up against the EU LCS mid laners. If he can do it up against KOSQ, that gives him some serious hope here. Right now, he's not doing too bad, but how much of that is the matchup?
For KOSQ and Nahun?
Yeah.
Majority of the matchup right now. We haven't put too much of a focus on this Akali in the early game, but there was quite a lot of CS disparity. KOSQ did drop down to the Dragon and make plays elsewhere on the map, which means naturally he will be losing out on the farm game. his role is going to be a little later on into this game, jumping on those backline threats, trying to get any squishies that he can. If he can bypass the Scout of the Week, theoretically he can blow up Nahyian pretty effectively. Can even do it to Sartorius, who has started itemizing for some sort of security. This does heavily delay his Trinity Force, which means his wave clear is affected, which means his viability up against Shen is also somewhat affected too. Sartorius is having a very rough game here, and we're only 13 minutes in.
Yeah, and honestly, it definitely seems a little bit more out of the comfort zone for Sartorius, even in the champion choice, because he was always known as the guy who could set up carries, but not necessarily be one himself. We always looked at him playing a lot of like tanks, AP even, kind of tanks, but not so much the big carries like Gangplank.
Yeah, that's true, but at the same time, Sartorius has been around Challenger. You know, in some of the teams we saw him on, playing for a long time during the period where Shen Gangplank was like the standard matchup. So although it's probably a rusty one for him, we know he has to have practiced this. Every top laner did. And Jizu, he's practiced getting away from that attempted bot lane gank, because that's easy. He just taunts out, doesn't have to use flash, easy peasy.
Yeah. Doesn't have to be the stealthiest ninjas to get away from that one, but meanwhile, look what Misfits Academy are able to get done up in the top side with KazQ and Pridestalker. Taking a few minion waves out, able to knock that one down and get themselves another lead. Pridestalker going for the red buff as well. And the gold lead continues to grow for Misfits Academy. Origen a little bit behind the curve.
Yeah, looks to be the case. 1,000 gold down. They will even up some of that with this tower on the bottom side. A lot of why this gold lead isn't so more heavily in favor of Misfits Academy is because, you know, you can see Gangplank has had a little bit of time to farm up. Of course, Nahyian has that farm lead we were talking about earlier, and everywhere else is mostly even. There's a 500 gold difference between junglers as well. So, interested to see how the ebb and the flow of the gold lead goes back and forth as these early towers have fallen.
The question is, though, for Misfits Academy, it seemed like, not that they really stopped making moves on the map, but that they just kind of stopped going for the big plays and focusing more on trying to trade objectives, which Origen have been happy to match. Syncrov now taking out a Cloud Drake solo while it's all happening. And is that the right choice for Misfits Academy, though?
I don't necessarily know whether this is a choice for Misfits Academy, in the sense that I think if Pridestalker has these 2 kills, his mentality on, I'm going to carry this, I'm going to go into lanes and start blowing people up and trying to just get anything we can, is going to take over from Misfits. Because it's on Jizu on a tank, I don't think the team really has it in their minds that they have this advantage. I think they'll know they're ahead, but I don't think they're wanting to fight with this Akali, with this Kha'Zix yet, because they're just thinking, okay, we're ahead, let's just close this game out, which is a more composed way of thinking about it.
That's the kind of thing that we don't usually see out of, you know, the lower league teams, and a big part of why Misfits Academy were able to get to the stage that they were, knowing how to play things out without taking too much risk. However, trying to show up their advantages here, it's on to Rift Herald, and we'll see if it's Pridestalker or KazQ who picks this one up.
Is that a second item Knight's Vow for Jizu?
Oh, it is.
What?
I mean, technically he didn't even finish his Tiamat item, right? Because that's not how you do it first.
I mean, so it gives you health, it gives you regen, it gives you armor, but it's so reliant on being next to an allied champion. And Shen, most of his time, will be out on the side lane. Of course, will ult in on people. Oh, tabs.
KazQ, is he going to get baited? It is the case, and wave goodbye as Syncrov picks up the kill. KazQ steps in a little too far forward, and now Pridestalker's on the retreat path.
Yeah, knows he can't really be aggressive here. 3 members of Origen were out in that side lane as KazQ went aggressive, and that is really slowing down the Misfits Academy setup here. Of course, as we were talking about, it's not Pridestalker with those kills, so not always looking to get in with the Akali or the Shen and try and continue things on. This is a very unorthodox top lane matchup when it comes to itemization. Knight's Vow up against Asterix Gage Gangplank, which makes a lot of sense, but this is the engage again. KazQ jumps in, Slicing Maelstrom shuts him down, kick out from Syncrov, follows in with the rest of the damage. It's easy, 3-on-1 should always go that way. They only got the heal, Tabs didn't even flash.
Hey man, it's the old saying, whenever you're up in a ninja fight, bring a few more friends and you're going to come out ahead. Origen, they get themselves 1 kill. It goes into Syncrov.
I must admit, I've not really heard that saying a whole lot.
Gotta read more.
Okay. I've been reading more recently, but it's not.
Well, you're not reading the right books, apparently.
I know, right?
All right. I want to touch back on the junglers, too, because while we talk about Pridestalker being, you know, a new player, 17-year-old kind of wonder kid, and really shoring up and showing up in the Schalke series, Syncroft is still pretty new to the LCS stage as well. He's only had 8 games played on the big stage since transferring from the LVP.
Yeah, it's been a rough setup for Syncroft coming into a team that had basically already been relegated at that point, so tried to come in and get a couple of wins in the last few weeks of the season, but wasn't to be. I think he's had a decent performance, and I want to see more from this guy. As he goes on to KOZQ, that's exactly what we're going to get.
Okay, KOZQ out on the side lanes, getting triple teamed once again, and even adding Sartorius' ultimate to the mix. But now let's see what Misfits Academy can get done in the mid lane. They are pushing a wave of their own, but Nahun is here to intercept. Around the side goes Pridestalker. The minion wave's not going to survive for very long. Scout of the week. Nahun's able to defend here. A lot of vision invested by Origen up in this top side. Pridestalker's still looking for an in, but he's kind of had to settle for counter jungle for the last few minutes.
Yeah, he has been just farming up the Storm. You can see him ahead of Syncroft. Does still have a gold lead, even though Syncroft has been involved in exchanges between himself. I want to come back to this Shen. I've checked the recent builds for Shen just in case anybody's doing anything, because you don't quite get to catch all of the games. If I'm not mistaken, this is the first competitive game that is on record that Knight's Vow is being built.
I think there might have been another one.
So many. Oh, yeah, there was. Sorry, you are right. Rocks Tigers versus SKT.
That was it.
Thank you very much. I knew I'd seen it once more.
And it was Huni.
It was Huni. So
of course it was
Jisoo
Huni.
thought he's Huni to begin this one off. Interested by it. Obviously, we'll have it effect in team fights.
I mean, yeah, but the thing is that the plan for Misfits Academy? We talked about the double assassin composition and how low of a frontline Origen have, how that can be an in for Misfits Academy, but would they rather take these fights? The way they're playing suggests not.
Exactly, like surely they should be playing out of the side lanes, and I was completely wrong, by the way. I'm taking a scan through a lot of the LCK games. There's like Roach has played it, a couple of others, so we have seen it. Just not commonly on Shen, especially not here in Europe.
Well, we don't get to see a whole lot of Shen since he doesn't usually make it through the ban phase.
So
this has been a weird game one.
It's been a very weird and wonderful, unorthodox setup here. The Sartorius Stark Gauge hasn't finished that Trinity Force yet.
Yeah, that was also more of a reaction and something that it kind of had to do as Pridestalker taking away the Gromp in front of Syncroft, and now they're fighting over that blue buff. Who gets the smite?
Oh, Syncroft got it with an auto. Didn't even...
yeah, Pridestalker smited a smidgen too early.
Yeah, I think Syncroft thought it had already gone.
I mean, we're at this point where we're just kind of trying to trade, you know, tit for tat a little bit, but there isn't any big engages, and both teams have been a bit gun shy of the last few minutes. And the next Dragon map is going to be Cloud, so I don't know if that's going to change. Yeah,
and that'll be the second Cloud Drake for Origen, as the first Infernal went over to Misfits Academy. This is a lot closer now, considering Jisoo got a kill at level 2, and then a follow-up kill. This game is a lot closer than you would normally expect it to be.
Yeah.
And that does favor Origen, at least a little. You can see Tabs has a lot of survivability. They've punished KOZQ for going aggressive. This GP will later on in the game start playing a lot more effectively around denying any push potential.
For the time being, though, KOZQ is still on the up and up here. Let's see how fast Origen can react with the double Cloud Drake, making moves. It's forcing KOZQ to back away, and you know, even though he has the glimpse of the void, it's not been enough to really net them a whole lot more on the map. That gold lead is not as much as it once was, 400 being the difference at 21.5 minutes. Misfits Academy, they're still stalling out a little bit, trying to make plays, but Origen are reacting.
Yeah, reacting in just enough time to deny that. That tower is quite low, though, so KOZQ should be able to get that soon. And the problem is, this is, remember, AD carry Kennen. This isn't top lane Kennen with teleport that can get across to a fight. This is more like that Fnatic setup, although haven't quite got the split push edge in this game that Fnatic may have been running.
Yeah, well, this is where it gets real, though, because we've been talking a lot about these top lane item choices, but finally Sartorius is able to complete his Trinity Force on top of the Steryx that he's been sitting on for a while. And this is where we might start to see the Gangplank damage coming through. Is Jisoo going to be able to keep the side push going against him? You have to think there's a ticking timer on that one.
Yeah, for now at least. I mean, Jisoo with 2 kills should have been able to push this lead a little bit more. It is tough now that GP's further on into this. KOZQ is the one that we're keeping an eye on. And look at this. Every time he heads top lane, gets intercepted. Oh, Syncrov can't really go aggressive here. Tabs is a little far away, and Syncrov isn't the strongest for himself right now. That Gunblade's been completed for a while for KOZQ. He's nearly at Zhonya's hourglass as well.
It's interesting, though, you mentioned Jisoo on the side lanes, too, because he has actually not been pulling the trigger on his ultimate just yet, but Pridestalker is another story. Here he comes in. Now Jisoo comes out. Pridestalker picking up one on xPeke. KOZQ following through, looking for Syncrov, who flashes away. Slicing Maelstroms on. And Tabs is going to make his great escape, and the power's unleashed onto Jisoo, but he lives through it.
And look at how Misfits Academy, when it's Pridestalker that's looking for those aggressive plays, he's just finished Black Cleaver and wants to jump right into fights. Gets right onto Peke. Easy pickoff for him. And Misfits Academy, that's the more proactive style that we saw up against Schalke, but Origen will react with a tower kill in the mid lane, so ultimately the gold should go in their favor.
Oh, Chain's gonna get flashed out. Now there's a teleport. Sartorius is caught. He's got his own flash, might have to use it. In comes Jisoo, slowed and stunned up, forcing the flash now with Sartorius. Tower did not go down, but it was a near miss right now. KOZQ trying to make his escape. Let's see, back to the mid. Misfits Academy, they're looking to make it happen, and I misspoke. The tower did go down. It was just a hair's breadth.
It was taken down by the cannon minions. Tabs was, or Yuki was desperately trying to take down the minions before he got the tower, but they answer with it now, so equal 4. That means that the kill on Peke maybe puts things back in Misfits Academy's favor. It's only 1,000 gold in this game for now, though.
Oh, yeah.
And we said this was going to be an even game. I think it's fair to say that 25 minutes in, that is very much the case. A couple of blips in the early game out of Origen made it more difficult for them than you would normally expect, but Misfits Academy turned this back on its head with a kill onto Peke.
Yeah, and this was the classic caster curse. As soon as I say Jisoo's not ulting, he goes, "You up, mate?" Goes right in, and they managed to get that quick kill. Pridestalker, you know, a little bit of damage, but relatively untouched, and you could see Origen, they couldn't really react other than send in a couple of Rs the way of Misfits Academy. Let's see what comes up next as Syncrov and the rest of Origen kind of leading the charge to try and keep vision secure around this Baron area.
Nathan was
Jisoo.
desperate to get more damage. Has hit that Q.
We're looking back at mid lane, not sure why. Jisoo's in trouble. It's a triple team, and I don't think a Ninja's getting out of this one. He burns his flash down, and the bubble is zoning away. He's staying alive for a while, but in comes Pridestalker right now. Can they get revenge? It's still 2v3. Tabs nearly going down. Pridestalker following. He does get one. Can he get two? Syncrov's gone down. Pridestalker falls as well. But Peke now isolated from the rest of the team, and it's going to be a big ult out of Sartorius to cover that escape. Cannon Barrage does it as he joins the party. And the damage report, well, it's 2 for 2.
It took so long to kill Jisoo. You saw the extra health. He's got the resistance, the denial of the autos meant Jisoo stayed alive for so long that the rest of Misfits Academy were able to regroup. By that point, Tabs had run out of crowd control to self-peel, and it meant Misfits Academy could turn it back once again in their favor. Every time Origen looked like they're starting to gather a little bit more momentum, Misfits Academy shut it back down, and they resume play from roughly the same point. But Origen are still making active plays on the map.
That's true. Seems like from the Misfits Academy side, the active plays have been mostly coming out of Pridestalker, and we'll see how this fight went down one more time. It was 1v3, and the Knight's Vow wasn't helping nearly as much for a little while.
Well, I mean, it's obviously giving him a bunch of additional health and resistances, and Jisoo just manages to survive a little bit longer, just enough for Pridestalker to get himself into the fight, who connects with Tabs. And it was Dreams that actually picked up that kill from the Ignite. And Misfits Academy had turned the fight again. Sartorius wasn't able to get a kill with Parley. And Misfits Academy backed themselves away, again coming out ahead. And this was a later exchange. KOZQ got caught.
Oh.
Was forced out to Zhonya's and
flashed away?
I believe
he got away on that
from
one.
it, yeah.
I mean, but that was close. All the same, and that's when we saw the back half of it. I was wondering where KOZQ had gone in that fight, and the answer was back to base, but able to make it out safe enough. So, Baron is the next objective to be eyeballed right here with another Cloud Drake coming up. Origen can get some mega speed boost, but it's not nearly as valuable as the Worm up top. Origen not keen to give that one up, but still pushing lanes here for Misfits Academy, and a lot of vision in this side of the map. Let's see what happens.
Misfits Academy, very active. You can hear them in the studio here, just very loud, chattering away about their next move. It looks like it's top tower is where they're going. This is where they're utilizing their comp. They know they've got Stand United available. There's the cannon barrage.
Use it. Uh-oh, Coscu getting kicked back. He goes golden, and he is trying to make one more escape. Gone down to Tabs and the Shuriken. So that gets aborted right quick there.
You can see Jisoo did not use Stand United available, despite Coscu having a little time afterwards. He wanted to be able to push this bot tower instead. Off a cannon, minion wave is able to just continuously push in. Will get cleared out, but he should be able to take this down.
No problem. Jisoo plays a little bit more for himself, but now he's got the teleport available in a few more seconds. The Stand United is up and out. 28 minutes on the clock. Origin, they want to start this Baron. They're going to spend their teleport on Sartorius.
This is a kind of a risky play out of Origin here. They no Shen, just recall, but of course he has double global to get into this.
Here comes Pridestalker right in the middle of the pit right now. Is it enough damage? They brought Jisoo on to Stand United, but Nahun takes him down. Pridestalker falls next. The Baron's doing a lot of damage to the back,
so low.
But Yuki just pops off. 1, 2, 3. Is he gonna get 4? That's the Quadra. Looking for a pentakill. He's gonna get it. Baron takes him out, but hot damn, that was worth.
Misfits Academy come up huge from Origin, just deciding to go Baron when everyone's alive against Shen. Like, he's going to be able to regroup very quickly into that Baron, even if he recalled first. Misfits Academy came out huge from that exchange, and Origin, maybe if they'd have been able to get a little more damage done faster, they thought perhaps Blade of the Ruined King, the Gangplank, everything from this, they started off. And it's not dying that quickly that this is an easy play to make. Shen has enough time to go all the way back. You do this against a Varus who has an easy ultimate onto multiple people. Tabs thought maybe he can peel enough, put enough damage down in this exchange, and then they're so low health, it's like shooting fish in a barrel right now for Yuki. He steps into the pit. The stun landed from Nahun, but Dreams everything now is all about keeping Yuki alive. Picks up the pentakill, dies to the Baron. Misfits Academy gifted 5 kills onto their AD carry.
That was a 4v5, and Yuki is running wild right now. I don't know what he had on his items just before that, but I'm pretty sure he just flat out bottom off. Holy moly. And now it's 10-7 in kills, 30 minutes. I don't know if Origin are going to be trying that one anytime soon, but they will be getting the clear out. And when you get stuck in the pit, sometimes you get locked up, but Pridestalker, he's getting locked up himself. Goes in ultimate now. Nahun gonna get popped by Coscu. The wave comes in as Coscu's gone golden. Jisoo isolating Tabs around the side, who has to burn his flash to get out of harm's way. Coscu's a little bit low, but Nahun's dead right now. It's Misfits Academy advantage. Will they clear out the vision and start for Baron, or looks like Origin are sticking around, but not too close?
They've taken out one of those big damage dealers, so it's gonna be about those side lanes again. You wanna just push out top side, and Misfits Academy should again resume control of this game.
It was definitely not the cleanest of them, and holy moly, you don't see a Baron fight like that. Origin hardly exited the pit until the very end, and now in plain sight, Misfits Academy think they can take this one. Can they stop the Syncroft steal? It's a 50-50 at the moment. Dreams is a little bit low, but now Coscu's coming in around the side, trying to get a delete off onto the Lee Sin, who comes into the back of the pit. Spike goes early for the health, and Pridestalker takes him out, but it's a fight on two fronts. It's Coscu and Jisoo trying to take down Tabs. They get him, the Baron goes, and now Sartorius and Peke are hightailing it out of there as Nahun's come back up. Misfits Academy get the lion's share, the kills, and the Baron.
Yeah, Misfits Academy jump out of the pit, take down Syncroft first. Now they look for the tower because that Baron has easily gone down. That was a little bit more akin to what we saw out of the Misfits lineup earlier on in the split. When you're looking at a Baron setup, you go out, just destroy the enemy jungler and make sure that they never even touch it. I mean, Syncroft managed to get in the pit, but it was an early smite. So this was the exchange that came through. This is the first time, by the way, that we're starting to see the Knight's Vow in effect. He's paired with Coscu, so it's redirecting and reducing some of that damage that Coscu's taking when he's jumping into the back of the pit. Only now had it really had effect. They jump out of the pit later on, take out Syncroft. Syncroft throws out a smite for good measure, tries to survive a little longer, as you were talking about. Pridestalker jumps in, smites it down. They get back out of the pit, and Misfits Academy, there's a fail flash in there or two, but everything's going their way right now.
Yep. They got themselves a Cloud Drake so they can match a bit of the speed that Origin's coming out with, but The gold lead started to propel itself forward. It's about 6,000 ahead, and you can see it manifesting itself in the items. Jisoo now with the Randuin's Omen, getting some slows down as well as being able to block a lot of this AD-heavy damage. And Nahun will be heavily relied on for the Origin team fight, but when he gets insta-gibbed like we just saw in that last fight, I don't know if that's a good omen for Origin.
It's certainly not a good Origin. He doesn't have anyone with a Knight's Vow, you know, taking damage away from him.
He needs a hero. Who's it going to be?
We'll see whether Sartorius ends up buying anything to mitigate some of that damage. But there is a point to be made that there's a minute 40 on this Baron. It's the outer towers will go down quite easily now in favor of Misfits Academy. KOSQ's onto the inhibitor tower. The rest of Origin are actually committing to KOSQ on the bottom side.
Oh boy, I don't know if that's the right decision. KOSQ, he might sacrifice himself for the cause, I should say, as he runs for the fountain dive, goes back in. Oh, he goes golden, and the bubble's not going to land in time. Bringing Shen to the party, and now the fight is on. I don't know if I like this one, but man, they seriously wanted to take it. It's going to be KOSQ going down, Jisoo making it out alive, and now Misfits Academy, they need to retreat, but they got themselves an inhib in the process.
Yeah, exactly. It bought the inhib enough time to be taken down in the mid lane. The rest of the Misfits Academy committed to it, easily get that. And they'll look at that and say, okay, that's a win in their mind. Okay, KOSQ died, but it didn't really matter. And everything in this game seems to be all about helping KOSQ and Yuki to get through. That's an Arden sensor.
Yeah, pop that one up on the screen. So it is definitely about protect the carries. One of them's an AD carry, well, the other one not so much. But Misfits Academy, they clearly have a game plan, and they are sticking to it right now. And it's definitely been some shocking gameplay out of them, but it seems to be working against this Origin lineup.
And a lot of this has come from Origin's awkward decision-making. This one, not so much. This is KOSQ going aggressive, trying to just buy as much time as he can for the rest of the team to take down the inhibitor. This was a clean-cut kill. Yeah, they get Shen in, but wasn't really enough to survive.
I mean, he gets out. That's the crazy thing after
Shen
it all.
gets out. KOSQ does.
No, but I mean, I think he had to know there was no way he was surviving that one, and you got to give a man some props when he knows he's going to die. He does what he can for the team.
But First Blood, pretty much given over because Sartorius took an odd trade. The pentakill and the Baron eventually given over because Origin just decide to start Baron with almost no setup against a Shen that you know has at least his ultimate available. Very perplexing decision-making by Origin.
Yeah, very questionable. I mean, it's that kind of decision-making that you don't wonder that they're here in this promotion tournament, and that's part of the issue, but we thought the Expeke shot calling, that might be the turning point. He's been a part of the starting lineup for several weeks now, and we saw a little bit of that manifest in some more decisive play, but not enough to take any wins. Here in game number 1, we have to question its effectiveness.
But it didn't even. Oh, hang on, KOSQ.
No, he's out.
Didn't get to Zhonya's. Yeah, I was going to say,
can't dodge those balls, unfortunately. Uh-oh, Dream's gone in. Syncroft. Maybe Misfits Academy have overplayed their hand here. Dreams, he's not big enough. He's going down, and now Nahun has a killing spree. All of a sudden, 2 Misfits Academy members are dead.
All of a sudden, the overcommit. KOSQ was under the tower. I wonder what the setup to that was. We didn't quite catch it until he was already being taken down, but that's Misfits Academy with an overcommit there. You really don't want to see that out of them. We've seen a lot of clean play around some of the objectives they've been going for, but this has been a very close game, as we were talking about, and close in decision-making as well. So KOSQ, I feel like, should have realized someone was coming aggressive. Like, he knows he can kill Tabs if he can get there. But the problem is Tabs every time has been able to survive through a lot of it. With the heal, with the ultimate available, like, he hasn't killed him many times.
I mean, the assassin, double assassin composition, they've really not needed to just full on assassinate because they've been able to find these team fights. But I feel like with Shen being a part of this team composition, KOSQ's kind of gone back to the old school style and just said, you know, I'm playing a Season 4 champion, I might as well play a Season 4 play. And he just keeps going in for the 50-50.
But the thing is, that time Stand United wasn't available on that exchange. And KOSQ, eventually maybe he'll get something to help him out there. I wouldn't really want to see a QSS, but it's not the worst buy if he just wants to go in and
I mean, the Zhonya's has been pretty good, at least, so maybe that'll be enough.
He didn't get to pop it that time.
Nope.
He didn't get to survive through.
He got pretty quick. 52 seconds on the next Baron, and that's got to be the big strategic point right now for both these teams. A lot of vision invested up topside in the Origen jungle by themselves, but just outside that pit, it's all Misfits Academy. See what they can get done here. Origen got burned trying to get the Baron last time. Will they make the same mistake twice? At the moment, game is in slight holding pattern as we wait for that one to respawn. Elder Drake's also a possibility.
Yeah, and if Misfits Academy could get that, it's one Cloud, one Infernal. Origen are rushing to secure control of this Baron pit. Of course, they're kind of at the mercy again of this Shen. If Sartorius TPs early, then Shen has at least the ability to split push through. That tower did take a little damage earlier, but has regenerated a lot of its health.
Yeah. Big problem right now for Origen is this dead inhibitor in the middle, but that's about to come back up. You just hear the announcer. Misfits Academy, they react to try and re-clear the vision outside of the Baron pit, and see Origen playing not separately at all, really. They have a 4-1 going with Sartorius clearing in the top, but for the most part, they prefer to stick it out together. And now the Elder Drake is being pinged by Misfits Academy. Let's see if they commit to it right now. It's a hard objective to take.
It's going to take a long time for Shen to do it. They're going to bring
I don't think he's got the damage.
With Cosq, it will end up getting taken down, but Syncrov knows what's happening, and he knows nobody can really stop him on his way down there.
Jisoo still trying to solo this one, but he's out of the pit. Yeah. Misfits Academy resetting. Pridestalker.
Oh, this is awkward.
He took a loving look at the Baron. Yeah, that was weird.
The problem is Cosq and Jisoo being on the other side means that the Akali can't make it there in time.
Oh, Syncrov. Uh-oh, that changes things. He burns his flash, and in comes Pridestalker. Tastes his fear, gets the reset, hopping forward, denied by the pushback and the wave from Nehun and Xpeke, but without the jungler on the table for another 50 seconds, Misfits Academy might be eyeballing Baron after all.
Syncrov put his hands to his head. Would love to see exactly what happened to start that off. We'd already seen the Syncrov was half health by the time. Origen are going to try and trade this out and get the Elder Drake for themselves. It is only 2 Clouds, but of course, remember, will enhance their team fighting.
And if Syncrov,
they have no smite available here.
It's a 3v4 with 2 locked up on Baron right now. Let's see if Misfits Academy can react. There is the cannon barrage. Jisoo coming in, and he steals it away with an empowered auto attack, and now they're getting the fight off. That is a tilter right there. Cosq coming up huge, taking down Sartorius, goes golden, should go down to Nehun, but now the cavalry's arrived. Yuki and Pridestalker coming in on Nehun, forcing the flash, blast cone up. They're taking no chances. Back to safety they go. Syncrov has just come off a cooldown. And Misfits Academy, they get Baron, they get Elder, they're gonna get Nehun on just 1 more second to pop the style points. They get the shutdown. It's 40 minutes on the clock, and all they lost was Cosq.
Baron plus Elder, Misfits Academy should be able to walk this one through. Yuki strong enough with the rest of the team that they should be able to just take down both Nexus towers. Tabs, Syncrov, and Peke do still stand, but it is a 4 versus 3 for now. Should be an easy end for Misfits as long as they don't get caught out by Syncrov.
All right, the wave pops up Jisoo, but with the Baron-empowered minions and the Elder Drake,
low.
They are a little bit, but can they finish up the tower? Dreams goes down to Tabs. This might change things a little bit, and Sartorius is about to come back up, and now Syncrov being chased down. This is a tense moment. This match is really lit up right now. It's been electric the last couple of minutes. Finally, they get that one, and now Jisoo, though, is going to give Yuki a little bit of help preemptively.
Sartorius doesn't know which way is the best way to go. They kind of cut off.
Oh, boy. Oh, they just keep on juking. Pridestalker didn't even see him right there. Didn't need to see him. He takes away a red buff, and all right, Misfits Academy can't end yet.
Cue the yakety sax at this point, because this has been a little bit of a rough end to the game from Origen. Sartorius had no idea which way to go, didn't know which way was going to be the most fruitful for him. It was Syncrov getting caught by Yuki's ultimate that started this exchange off. Then it turns into the Elder for Baron trade attempt, but Jisoo walks in, gets the empowered auto by the looks of things, and just takes down. How much health did I have? 37 health, as Jisoo didn't even need it to be empowered.
You have got to be kidding me. I mean, there was no smite contest available, but all the same, it was 3v4, and then they go and do this.
Yeah, at this point, Tabs thinks maybe he can peel, but Cosq bought enough time to put some more damage down, and Misfits Academy just try and get all over Origen. Somebody might be caught out here in the bottom left of your screen here. It's Cosq.
Well, I mean, par for the course this game, for sure. He's been the one that's been picked on by this Origen squad.
Look, if taking Fnatic's Kennen 80 carry doesn't work, Fnatic brush. That's just try and emulate Fnatic.
There was a time when people used to call this Fnatic Black. So there's something to be said for that. Very different roster, but Peke was also on it.
And of course, there was that Fnatic Origin Finals from summer 2015. The heights where we saw the undefeated streak of Fnatic come to an end at the hands of Origin, but how the mighty have fallen right now up against Misfits Academy in game 1, struggling to hang on here 43 minutes into the game.
Misfits Academy are just looking to close this one out, but even as we saw in their Schalke series, when they amassed pretty huge leads, it still took them a while. There were some stallings, but this time around, they've ramped up towards the end.
Nahyun's trying to pretend to be Caitlyn, set up as many balls as he can to
Don't step on these.
Just like Caitlyn traps.
Yeah. Meanwhile, though, bot. I mean, Jisoo's kind of having not free time on the tower, but they can't really push back. And now they've caught Nahyun under tower, piercing arrow. Not enough damage with the health picks even. They've run out of waves. However, they feel strong enough. One empowered Cannon Minion and Jisoo and KazQ are doing work on the bottom side overtime for this team. So now it's 2 downed inhibitors as they look to rejoin their squad. Yuki even tanking a bit of damage on the turret. Origin just trying to hold on, hang tough. It is only game 1, but things are starting to look grim right now for this team. They've tried to push back this Misfits Academy team, but it looks like it is too little, it is too late. That's 3 inhibs, and only 1 Nexus turret remains. In goes KazQ. Can they get the bubble? No, he's going out, and in comes Pridestalker. Tag right on in. They get a big knock up on the Wild Growth, and he takes down Syncroft. Looking for Sartorius as they desperately march back to Fountain. The minions are doing the rest of the job. Jisoo comes up with 1. 3 members of Origin pushed back by Jisoo alone. It's all Nexus, and Misfits Academy strike first in this best of 5.
It all started with a solo kill, first blood in the top lane for Shen. And they never really looked back. Misfits Academy utilizing Jisoo for the most part, pushing that side lane, bringing him in, being very, very tanky. Even at the end there, you saw Tabs trying to crush him down with this Cannon 80 carry, and it was not to be. Easy walkthrough once they got that Baron, but it was a long game. Misfits did not crush Origin in this setup.
No, they didn't. They had a lot of weapons, and they had a lot of shields as well, and in all honesty, sometimes you just gotta build a Knight's Vow.
Sometimes you have to. And then make the commentators forget that Huni did it. But it's okay. Everything's great.
But I mean, it's one of those things. It's a niche situation. I like to see Misfits Academy pulling it out in game number 1. Some unconventional ideas, and they made them work, and you could see smiles on the faces. Well, smile on the face of Unlimited. He's happy with how his team performed in game number 1, and they'll get ever so closer to making it in the European LCS.
Yeah, they will do. They're 1 game so far. Of course, Origin, they have the opportunity to bounce back in this. We now get to see where exactly we go for game 2. But Misfits Academy coming out strong, taking it to Origin, and kind of punishing Sartorius for a couple of mistakes in the early game. It wasn't... It didn't straight up lose Origin the game, but certainly made it very difficult for themselves. The one thing that really made it almost insurmountable was that pentakill coming out from Yuki. The decision to just go to Baron.
Well, to stay on it for so long. They didn't actually peel off the Baron. They were stuck in the pit. And that was, I think, one of the big turning points that made us really question the shot calling in this game, especially around objective plays. Something we're not used to seeing even from Origin to commit to that so hard.
Yeah, I'm disappointed they did. Like, just you didn't kill anyone. You just go to Baron.
And they got a little unlucky too. I mean, then they gave up. Then they gave up the Elder Drake to an auto attack. But I mean, what can you do? Misfits Academy, they've come out the gates with a win, starting off the series. We'll see if Origin can fire back when we return.